स्टोरी टाइम इज ब्रॉट टू यू बाय अमेरिका में मुसलमानों की नुमाइंदा तंजीम इस्लामिक सर्कल ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका समाजी शऊर से आगाही हो या इस्लामी तर्ज जिंदगी का दर्स, इक्ना ने हमेशा अपना मौसर किरदार अदा किया। कार खैर में हमारा साथ दीजिए। फोन 718-658-1199।
Dear children, welcome to another great session of story time. As always, we start our session with the universal greeting of Islam, and that is Assalamu alaikum. And before we continue with our story of Prophet Moses, let's see who's here with us today.
Hey, it's Harim to listen to some inspiring stories.
Good.
Hi, it's Lani.
Larib.
Hey, it's Moaz from grade 4.
Moaz from grade 4.
Hello everyone, it's Isha.
Isha. And you remember what story we listened to yesterday?
Hazrat Musa.
Yes, Prophet Moses, Hazrat Musa. And what was that story about?
About Hazrat Musa's followers.
Yes, about his followers and how they kind of cheated and disobeyed him, right?
Yes.
So that's how the people of Bani Israel were. They were not very good Muslims. They were always complaining, they were always cheating, and they were very afraid of fighting the non-believers, and they always wanted Allah to do everything for them. They were not ready to make an effort, and they were very greedy as well. They were always after money.
So Allah became a human.
Yes, Allah kept telling Hazrat Musa that please tell them not to disobey, not to be so greedy. But they then disobeyed again and they got greedy again. And one time what happened, that there was this old man among them who was very rich. He had lots of money. And he had no children of his own. He had some nephews, his brother's children.
Did he spend money for other people's?
No, he didn't even spend money for other people's. He was a very greedy person. And what happened, that whole family was greedy. Even his nephews were greedy. And they wanted to get all this money from this old man. But old man was not dying. They were waiting for him to die so they can get all the money. So one day they decided to kill the old man
Why?
to get all his money.
To get all his property.
Right. So one night they all entered his house, and he used to live alone because he had no children, no family. But he was very rich and he had a big house. And they went in way past midnight, went into his bedroom, and
They were Bani Israel.
yes, they were Bani Israel, and they killed their uncle. He was killed, and they killed him and ran away. They didn't take anything from his house. You know why?
So that no one could know.
Yes, because they were the owner. If uncle has died, then surely they are going to get all the money. So they ran away. So in the morning, they went into the house, knocked the house, no one opened. So they broke the house, gathered all the people, all the neighbors, and went inside. And there was he, dead. And then they start crying and, making loud sounds just to show everybody that they are so upset. And they cried and cried and cried. And the main guy who went into the bedroom and killed his uncle, he was crying the most. He was crying the loudest. And they said, if Musa is a prophet, if he is true prophet of Allah, then he must come here and he must find out who has killed our uncle. they thought that Hazrat Musa will not be able to do anything. And this way they will get all the money of their uncle and they will insult Prophet Musa. And all the attention, everyone will be looking at Hazrat Musa, asking him to find the murderers. Yet they will be getting all the money and enjoying all the money, and everyone will be after Hazrat Musa, that he should find out who is the murderer. So people ran to Hazrat Musa and called him. And he came. And they said, look, a man is dead.
So right at that time, were Bani Israel obeying Allah or weren't
They were obeying in few things, and many things they were disobeying. They didn't believe in idols, but they didn't follow Allah the way we must follow Allah. They should have followed Allah. So they were not idol worshippers, they were not worshipping idols, but they were not obeying Allah either. They were always finding ways to cheat and disobey Allah.
Was there any king?
King was Hazrat Musa. He was their king. Hazrat Musa and Hazrat Harun, they were the kings and the prophets of Bani Israel at that time.
So what about the cow that the magician made?
That was destroyed. Prophet Musa destroyed that cow and he cursed the magician Samri, and for rest of his life, for few months, he didn't eat anything. He had this strange disease that he didn't touch anything. Anybody who came close to him, he said, don't touch me, I will die. Don't touch me, I will die. And he will not touch even the food. He would hardly get, people would force food into his mouth so he can survive. And after few months, he was dead. So for a few months while he was going around in such a bad shape, it was a sign that how Allah has punished him. So people of Bani Israel can get a lesson from that. But still they didn't get a lesson. So coming to this man, once he was dead and his nephews cried and they called Hazrat Musa, and Hazrat Musa came. And he diverted all that attention to Hazrat Musa, his nephew. And he said, he is the prophet. He must find out who killed my uncle. My uncle is dead. I loved him so much. Now Hazrat Musa knew in his heart that his nephew, this man, is the murderer. But he cannot prove it, right? So he said, give me some time. I will come tomorrow and we will discuss. I will pray to Allah today and let's find out what Allah tells me. So he went at night and he prayed to Allah and came back next day to these people and he said that Allah has given me a message. And the message is that you must slaughter a cow. And these people laughed. They said, slaughter a cow? We want you to find out the murderer. And you want us to slaughter a cow? And Hazrat Musa said that this is what Allah has told me. Allah has told me that you will find out when you slaughter a cow. And they were surprised. And they thought that this guy is fooled. He has lost his mind. That to find out the murderer, he's telling us to slaughter a cow. So they started making fun of him. And the relatives of that old man, and his nephew was among them, said, okay, tell us, what kind of cow should we slaughter? He said that the cow should be of dark yellow color. So they went around looking for a dark yellow kind of cow, and they found many. And they came back, and instead of just getting one cow and slaughtering it, they came back to Hazrat Musa just to make fun of him, to tease him, and said, oh, there are so many dark yellow cows. Which one do you want us to slaughter? And he was upset. He said, go and slaughter any one of them. They said, no. We have to obey Allah. So we want to slaughter exactly the kind of cow Allah wants us to slaughter. See, they were getting just into it as a game. They were just making fun of the Prophet of Allah. So Hazrat Musa said, okay, I will come tomorrow and I'll tell you what kind of yellow cow Allah wants you to slaughter. And next day, Hazrat Musa came back with the message from Allah. And he said, the cow that Allah wants you to slaughter should not be too young, or it shouldn't be too old.
So it should be the medium age.
Medium age. So all these guys said, okay, we will look for such a cow again. And next day they come again.
So Allah ordered to find a cow, a dark yellow color.
Allah just wanted them to slaughter any cow. But these guys just kept making fun of Allah's order. They just kept playing game. So next day they said, and they came and said that look, there are yellow cows and there are many cows who are not too young or they are not too old. Which one should we slaughter? And Prophet Musa once again said, look, just slaughter any cow. It doesn't matter. They said, no. You have to be very specific. And Prophet Musa said, okay, I'll ask Allah tonight and I'll give you Allah's message tomorrow. And tomorrow Hazrat Musa came and he said, Allah says that this cow should not have any spot on it. It should be all dark yellow. So it should be dark yellow, shouldn't have any spots on it. It shouldn't be very young or it shouldn't be too old. And these guys said, okay, now we got the message. And they went again, looking for the cow. And came back the next day without a cow, with another excuse. They said, oh, there are so many cows out there that do not have a spot on it. They are dark yellow, they are not too young, they are not too old. Which one should we slaughter?
So they ask question.
Question, again and again, questions, over and over again.
So what about the nephews?
Nephews, they are part of this whole game. They were all making fun of the Prophet of Allah. Now, Hazrat Musa went back to Allah and he said, I am so sorry. These people of Bani Israel, they are not just obeying your order, they're just making fun of your orders. So can you be more specific so I can make sure that these people follow Allah's commands? And Allah said that I know what they're thinking. I know what is in their heart. You don't worry. Go back with this message. And Allah gave Hazrat Musa another message. And next morning, Hazrat Musa went back to the family of this old man, his nephews and everybody, and he said that Allah said that this cow should not have worked in the field and no one should have beaten it, and it should not have left the farmhouse. It should have stayed in a farmhouse only. Very happy, very such a life where this cow had not to work. See, at that time they used to plow the fields, right, with their cows. But this cow shouldn't have plowed the field. Yes.
Did they found the cow?
Now they went back and there was only one yellow cow with no spots, which was not too young or not too old, that has never worked in a field. Finally they found one. And the cow belonged to a poor guy. And they said to this man that we want to buy your cow. And the man knew that my cow is the only cow that they have to slaughter, and they are super rich. So they will pay for my cow. So he kept raising the price of the cow and kept raising it and raising it. And ultimately he said that I want gold equal to the weight of my cow. And they said, okay, we will give you that. Next day they came with so much gold, see how rich they were, that was equal to the weight of the cow. And that boy said, I want double.
He was greedy.
He was greedy also. And he knew that now he can make money. See, if these people had slaughtered any cow, just Allah has said, there wouldn't have been any problem. But they kept asking questions over and again, and that was the loss. That's how they lost money. And that is the whole message, that we should not ask too many questions. If Allah tells us something to do, we should just do it and not get into too many details. Because if you'll get into too many details, if you'll ask too many questions, there will be trouble. So now these people were in trouble. So next time they brought more gold, twice the weight of the cow. And the boy said, I have changed my mind.
The thrice of it.
Thrice, 3 times the weight of the cow. I want that much gold.
That's a lot of gold.
Yes, that's a lot of gold. So next day he changed his mind again. 4 times. And next day he changed his mind again 5 times. And next time he changed his mind again 6 times, and then 7 times, and then 8 times. And finally he agreed on 8 times the weight of cow in gold. And they gave him that much gold that they lost half of all the property of wealth of their uncle anyways. So they gave him this cow, they took that cow from the boy, gave him all the gold, and brought that cow to the city in the main square. And till now they had the body of their uncle lying there. They didn't bury it, because Hazrat Musa said that bring the cow, and once I do my procedure that Allah has told me, only then you will go and bury the cow.
Bury the old man?
Bury the old man, sorry. Bury the old man. When I slaughter the cow, then you will bury the old man. So now, all the people were there, and his nephew was there, and relatives were there, and cow was brought right at the center of the square, and they laid it down, and Hazrat Musa cut it, took a piece of meat from that cow, and hit the old man with the piece of meat. And guess what happened next?
It said out the name?
No. The old man is dead, lying there, and Hazrat Musa takes meat from this cow and hits like this. That old man with the meat of the cow. Guess what happens next?
He comes alive the name?
Yes, he became alive. He got up, and Hazrat Musa said that you have gotten up by the command of Allah. You tell us who killed you.
So this is how Allah commanded it?
Yes, and he got up and he looked around just like this, and everyone was frightened. They said, oh my God, a dead man has woken up. He has risen. And they kept looking at him, and this strange man, dead man, woke up and looked around, and he then raised his finger and pointed as his nephew and said, this nephew of mine, he murdered me. And with that, he laid down and died again.
That was a miracle of
Yes,
Allah.
of course. And he died. And everyone knew that Hazrat Musa was a true prophet of Allah, and they should not criticize him or make fun of him all the time.
So what happened to the nephew?
They got him and killed him. That was the law. Head for head, life for life. So this is an amazing story from the time of Hazrat Musa. So what do you find interesting in this story?
That we
The whole story?
Yes.
do not
We should not- We should not criticize God.
Yes, we should not criticize. We should not ask too many questions, right? That's what you said. Exactly. Yes.
And
What
we
you,
should always remember Allah.
we should always remember Allah. We should never
And do
try
not
to-
do sins.
Yes, we should
And
not
if
do
we
sins.
ask too many questions, we will be in a big trouble.
Yes, if you ask too many questions, then we'll be in big trouble.
If we want money, we will not.
We should not do that.
Exactly. If we want money, we should not kill other people. You know, it's not a good idea to get money by killing other people. Exactly. So you like this story?
Yes.
Okay. So children, tomorrow we will be here again with another great story from Quran. Till then, keep obeying Allah and keep listening to your parents. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
स्टोरी टाइम वॉज ब्रॉट टू यू बाय अमेरिका में मुसलमानों की नुमाइंदा तंजीम इस्लामिक सर्कल ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका समाजी शऊर से आगाही हो या इस्लामी तर्ज जिंदगी का दर्स इक्ना ने हमेशा अपना मौसर किरदार अदा किया। कार खैर में हमारा साथ दीजिए। फ़ोन 718-658-1199।